and LDS, Lightning Data Services. Before we start, anyone has any query in the previous session? Let me know. Before we start, anyone has any query in the previous session regarding the application level event, data table, and record data what we have seen? Any queries from anyone in the regarding the previous session? Any queries? No queries? Okay, good. Now, let me explain this topic now. What is this record data and what is this LDS, Lightning Data Services? What is this Lightning Data Services and what is this record data? Okay. So look at this. Yesterday already we have seen what is this record data. Let us see complete story about this record data. You see the partial format. Let us see how to refer to this. Now, when you go to this force record data, we already seen certain attributes in this force record data. Like we have seen how to define the ID, record ID, target fields, target error. Then we have seen about fields. Then there are couple more fields here available, couple more attributes. One is the mode. When you say mode, how you want the record to be open? In which mode you want the record to be open? There are two modes which are available. One is the view mode, other one is the edit mode. If you want the record to be open in the edit mode, mode equal to edit, or else mode equal to view. Mode. In which mode the record should be open? You want to view it or you want to modify it? If you want the record to be modified, we will say mode equal to edit. You want the record to be only displayed, we will go for view. By default, the mode is view. Then layout. When I say layout, there are two types of layout. We said layout. There are two types of layout what we have. One is full, another is compact. Just like when you compare with the Visual 4, when you compare with the standard classic page layout, mini page layout. Full is like a page layout, compact is like a mini page layout. When you go to Lightning, here we see. When you say layout, full layout, this is the full layout, the complete record. This is a full layout. When you say compact, the mini layout. This is the mini layout. This is a compact layout. This is the full layout. Now they are asking, boss, are you going to mention the fields which you want? Or should I take the fields from the layout? Now look at this format. We told force record data. Now in the previous example, what I have done? Fields equal to name, industry, this is what I did. So we told fetch the record with the following fields. Now I don't want to mention the field names. Instead of giving the field names, we have alternate choice. The alternate choice is force record data layout equal to when is a compact. No, it says whatever the fields that are there in the compact, whatever the fields that are displayed in the compact layout, those fields will be coming. So in that case, like say account name, close date, amount, opportunity name, this will be coming. When I say layout equal to full, now the fields which are available, in the full layout, they will be displayed here. So instead of specifying the field names, I can also specify the layout type. Instead of specifying the fields, I can also specify the field type, like a layout type. But this is not suggested. I always prefer to go with the fields, because when you say layout, the layouts can be modified time to time. Now, the fields which you are displaying on the layout, I may change time to time. When you are changing time to time, the fields which I am displaying on this record may or may not be available on the layout. Today they are available on the layout. I want to display name, phone, industry. These three fields are available on the layout today, but tomorrow on the layout, they will be available or not, I cannot guarantee. Because the time to time, we may modify it. That is the reason, instead of depending upon the layout, it is better to specify the list of fields which you want to display. So that in the future, if somebody modify the layouts also, it will not impact your program. Did you follow my point? Did you follow my point, boss? Yeah. Right. So either I can use fields or I can use layout type. Any one option is there. Both are not necessary. Either you can use fields or you can use layout type. But out of this, the good choice is fields. Okay. Then we have target record, target fields. Then we have target record, target fields. What is this target record and target fields? Let us see. Now, whatever the record we are getting, that record with the following fields, get the data from the given record with the following fields. Store the data in the target fields. When I store it as v dot my record, then if you want to refer to the data from this record, what we do? V dot my record dot name. This is how we are giving. But if I give target record, in both the cases, target fields and target record, both of them are referring to the same record. Target fields, target data, both of them are. Yeah, sorry. So, small disturbance from my data. Okay, now we have a target record, we have target fields. Both of them are referring to same record. Target record and target fields, both of them are referring to the same record. But how do you refer to the data? If it is a target fields, whichever the variable you mentioned, my record dot name. If you want to refer to the data from target record, that has to be like this. V dot test data dot fields dot v dot test data dot fields dot field name dot value. This is how you are supposed to mention. Now I repeat again, if the variable is my record dot field. If you want to refer to the data from the target record, that is going to be test data dot fields dot field name dot value. At the end of the game, both of them are referring to the same record, same value, but the way we are going to refer to the value is going to be different. The format in which we are going to call the value is going to be different. There is a reason target fields we frequently use, because it is a simplified version of referring to the records data. We use target fields as it is a simplified version of referring to the record data. I hope everyone has got this. So finally, what are the attributes that we have in the record data? We had ID, we had fields, layout type, mode, target fields, this. Now, out of this, I was supposed to use fields or any one I have to use. Here I will use target, fields or target. Out of this, either I have to use fields or layout type, either I have to use target fields or target record. This is the format. Okay. Now, so these lightning data services, if you want to use, we are supposed to use force record data. This is exactly the counterpart of standard controller, what we are using in. The way you define standard controller in the VF page, exactly same thing we are doing in the lightning with the help of record data. In the VF page, how we are defining Apex page, standard control equal to account and referring to the data. Exactly in the same way in the lightning, we are going to achieve the same functionality with the concept of lightning data services. So when I say standard controller, we have some standard actions. We have some standard actions here. Is a standard action. We don't need to interact with the Apex classes. We just want to avoid the Apex classes, perform some standard actions. The standard controller will avoid interaction with the Apex class. We can straight away perform the operation on the data. If you want to make any changes on the data, if you want to make any changes on the record on which we are working without interacting with the Apex class, then we go with a standard controller. Standard controller will refer to a record and it will perform some DML operation on the record without interacting with any Apex class, any server side Apex classes. I repeat, standard controller will refer to a record and it allows you to perform DML operation on that record without interacting with any one of the server side operations. Exactly the same thing will be done with the lightning data services. So here we are using record data, force record data. Now it is referring to a record. It is referring to the record. On this record, we can perform some DML operations without interacting with any server side controllers. If I want to perform any DML operation on an object or a record without interacting with the server side controller, we are using Lightning Data Services. Here we in as new create option. So similarly, what are the client side operations you can do on the record? What are the operations we can perform on the record without interacting with the Apex classes? Here we have get new record, reload the record, save the record, delete the record. These are the 4 operations what I can perform on the record without interacting with any Apex class, functionality. The record which you are referring on that record, if you want to perform any operations without interacting with the server side Apex classes, then we go for Lightning Data Services. So in the Lightning Data Services, the record which you are referring is given as force record data. Then on this record, what are the operations we can perform? Get new record, reload record, save record, delete record. These are the 4 operations that we can perform. Till now, anyone has any query? Let me know. Anyone has any query till now? Let me know. Anyone has any query on this? Anyone has any query from your end? Is good with everyone? Okay, let me go with the next implementation. Now I'm trying to go with the first functionality, that is how to create a record. I want to show the documentation before I get in. It's okay. Okay, I'll show it from the trailhead. Now let's go with the first one. I want to refer to the record. Whatever the record you are giving, that record I want to save it. Whatever the record we are entering, whatever the record data we are referring, that record I want to save it. If you want to save it, then we have a functionality here. It has some stages. I was supposed to store the stages here. Let me give you. And coming back to the same. It's okay. Okay. Now look at the format. If I want to save the record, how do you save the record? Now the key point, I'll explain with the 2 points here. First, I want to save the record. If you want to save the record, which record you want to save? I gave force record data, URA ID equal to. Then I gave some information. So the record which was referred by this ID, I want to save the record. This record data is referring to one record that is referred with one ID. So whatever the record that is referred by this ID, that I want to save it. Then how can I do it? Now in the client side controller, component dot find component dot find. So it is referring to the element whose ID is my ID. That means whatever the record that is force record data is referring, whatever the record this force record data is referring, whatever the record that this force record data is referring, whatever the record this force record data is referring, that record dot save record. The record dot save record. Whatever the record it is referring, that we are giving a save record. Here we need to give save record. When you are saving the record, I want to get the callback action. What is the callback action? Is the record is saved successfully? Not saved? If it is saved, what is the state? I want to understand. If the record is saved successfully, what are the states we have? If it is not saved, what are the different states we have? So to find out whether record was saved properly or not, what is the status of the operation? We give $A dot get callback. $A dot get callback. Then we are going to give $A dot get callback. $A dot get callback. So component dot find the record dot save record, $A dot get callback. So in the callback, we are going to get response. Where is that response? Now we are getting a response. With the help of this response, we want to find out response dot get state. State equal to success or not, we are going to find out here. This is what we are going to find out. State. If it is success or draft, record is saved. Incomplete, error, we can define it. Incomplete, error, or we can define it. So what we are trying to do? We are trying to save the record. We are trying to save the record. Once you are saving the record, get the callback. Once you go to the callback, we want to track the status of the record, whether it is saved successfully or not. We want to track the status of the record, whether it is saved successfully or not. I was supposed to show you some states here, not getting the documentation. Just to give you some basic states what we have. Yeah. This is what I'm trying to show you. Look at this. We have the states here. Success, draft, incomplete, then we have error. This is what we are going to get. What are the different states we got here? Success, draft, incomplete, success, draft, incomplete, error. Now if you want to get the error message, you are going to get the error message here. Now what is the API name? What is the entity level? What is the error message? What is the ID of the record which is inserted? In case if we insert the record. In this case we are not inserting the record, so I don't get all these four which you are finding here. Object API name, entity label, error, record ID. Straight away we are trying to take state. So here, what is the action that we have here? $A dot get callback. $A dot get callback. $A dot get callback. When I say $A dot get callback, function save record result. Function save record result. From the save record result, I can find out what is the status of the record and help you out. So let me take an example to understand the same. So these people are trying to create a record. Click on save. The record has to be saved. Okay, the same thing I'll implement here. Before I go further, did the people follow this point? Once again, I'll explain it. Force record data. URA ID equal to my. Then I have fields name, phone, industry, target fields. This is how we got. Now I am referring in the programming. Component dot find my save record. When you save the record, what is the status? Get callback. This what? In get callback, how to handle the response function. Then here I'm saying get this. Then implement state draft. Then make it as success. Now success means record is saved to server side. Draft means unable to connect to the server, but the record is saved locally. Else the other things. Error message. This is how we are trying to implement the combination we are going to take. So the same thing we are trying to explain here. The same thing we are trying to explain here in the terms of LDS save record. Look at the point what we have. Record data, ID, layout type, record ID, target error, target record, target field. I told you already, either you give layout or fields. Now these people are not taking the fields, they are given the layout type. Then target fields or target record, any one will be sufficient. Because I want to modify the record, I have taken mode equal to, these people have taken mode equal to edit, because they want to save the record. Because they want to save the record, they have taken mode equal to edit. They have taken mode equal to edit. Then they started displaying lightning input button. If the record is saved successfully, they want to print some message here. If the record is not saved successfully, they want to print some error message. This is what they have taken. Now get the state. Once you get the state, check out whether it's success or failure. So let me implement the same example with respect to our development environment. Let's see how it is happening, how it is handled. Right. Here we are supposed to implement two interfaces. What are the two interfaces we are supposed to implement? Any component which you want to use it in the home page of the record, and if you want to go for LDA service, it is a must that we need to implement two interfaces. What are the two implemented? Two interfaces. Fluxy page available for record home page. Force has recording. These two interfaces should be implemented. Okay. Then we have right. We have force record data era ID. Not equal to edit. Fields equal to v dot fields. Record. This is how we got it. Then I'm giving value equal to v dot my record dot right. Lightning button. This is how I create. First, let me add this component. First, let me add this component to the page. Then we perform the save action. So what we do, go to the record, edit page. This is opportunity, right? I was supposed to go to account. Edit. Loan. LDS example 1. Then I made save. No. The component we have given here. So account name, industry, phone. Then give it here. Record ID. So go back, refresh. So previously the data was not coming because we have not mentioned which record this record data is referring to. Which record this record data is referring to, we have not mentioned it. There is a reason there is no data coming up. So when I told record ID equal to v dot record ID, so we told refer the data from this particular record ID which I fetched. That's how we got the data. Now when I make a modification on this data, click on save, the record should be saved. Now the beauty of the LDS is wherever this data is used, on all the location the data will be refreshed. It is not only in the location where I am saving, it is not only going to change the data in the component where I have made changes. This is one component. I made the changes on this component. It is not only making the changes on the component, it also makes the changes on the remaining components of the page where this particular data is used. Now, it is not only going to make a change. If I make a change here, it is not only going to make a change on the component where I clicked, it also makes the changes on the remaining components where this data is used. Now, my requirement is I am going to make a change. Click on the save button. This data should be saved to the record without interacting with the Apex class. So, what do we do? Go back to this controller. The controller had a show. So here what we have given, my rec. Save record. Here we want to get a callback action. The callback action, we have a function. Save result. It is a variable. It is not necessary that I have to give a save result only. Just to understand, we have given a save result. It is a variable. Anything you can give. It is a variable. Anything you can give. So if save result dot state. I made some changes here. So whatever the record we are referring, the record dot save record. That record dot save record. Now go back. If you want the changes to be reflected, refresh the page. You can see the phone number used in this component. Phone number is used in this component. Phone number is used in this component. Now see here, phone number is modified. Phone number is modified. Phone number is modified. Mahesh, mute your mic, Amma. Mahesh, mute your mic. Now I saved the record here. When I saved the record, it is not only getting reflected here, it is also getting reflected in the other components of the page where the same field is used. The Lightning Data Service, what it does, when you are making any action, it will, all the components where the record is used, they'll capture it. When you make any changes, like a cache, it maintain the data. It will have a cache. In the cache, it will maintain the data of the record. When you make the changes will be made to cache, and all the components will take data from the cache. That is the reason any change that you make on the component using LDS on a record, if you make any changes, all the remaining components of the page where the same record is used, there the changes will be reflected. Now this is an independent component. I never had a connection with these components. I only created this component. I never given this component. Interacted with this component. But because of the LDS, all the remaining components of the page where the same record is used, there the data is getting reflected. So what was this? Without interacting with the Apex class, how do you make changes on your data is the question. It is possible using Lightning Data Services with the help of force record data. I hope everyone is good with this example. Everyone has followed this example. Anyone has any query on this example? What we have done? Yeah, go ahead, Emma.
Satish, as you said that whenever you are using a layout, then we don't have to use like target fields. If we are using target fields, so it is necessary to maintain all the fields that you maintain in the Lightning card.
Yeah. See, now my intention was to take name, phone, industry. These are the fields which I want to use. Okay. Now, instead of defining a field, what I told layout type I used. When I told layout type full, in the current page layout, name field, phone field, industry fields are displayed. Right. So I told layout type equal full, and I was using it without target fields. But tomorrow, as per your requirement, on the layout you don't want to display phone number. But on this component, on the layout you don't want to display, not on the component. This component was supposed to take what? Name, phone number, industry, and display the values. Right. Now when you are displaying in the current layout, name, phone, industry values are displayed. That is the reason you told layout equal to full. But tomorrow, as per your requirement, on the UI, you don't want to, on the UI of the layout, you don't want to, on the detail page of the record, you don't want to display simple F under boss. You are taking this. Currently, as per your requirement, on the compact layout, you are displaying type, phone, website, account owner, account set, industry. Now, tomorrow your business requirement has changed. They told, don't display these fields in the compact layout. Display name, rating, ownership, phone number. But today, by looking at this, I told every field I want to refer in the component is already there in the compact layout. So instead of giving the field names, that I will give compact layout. But tomorrow, if the compact layout fields are modified, then it will impact your component, right? This is the component which you want to create. Compact. Now, you are supposed to create. Now, you have full layout. In the full layout, you are displaying name, in compact layout. Right now in the compact layout, you are displaying name, phone. Now, what I told, what are the fields I want to display in the component? All these fields are available in compact layout. Every field I want to refer in the component, all of them are getting displayed in the compact layout. So instead of giving all the field names separately, I told layout type. So automatically what happened? Layout type compact. Now when I say name, it is there in the compact layout. Phone, it is there in the compact layout. Industry, it is there in the compact layout. So all these three fields are fetched. All these three fields are fetched. Okay. Actually, what are the fields that are fetched when you say compact? The fields that are fetched is name, phone, industry, rating. All these four fields are fetched. All these four fields are fetched, but you are using only three fields on the UI. When you say layout type equal to compact, all these four fields are fetched, but you are only using three fields. When I say layout type equal to full, all these fields are fetched, but only I am displaying three. But tomorrow what happened? Your actual requirement is to display name, phone, industry. As these fields are already there in the compact, straight away you told layout type equal to compact, then you are giving my record dot name, my record dot phone, industry. Tomorrow, as per your business requirement, you are supposed to modify some change, make some changes. Industry they ask you to remove, they ask you to display ownership. Now, when I am displaying name, phone number, industry, it will throw error message. Without querying the field, you are displaying the industry. Got it? I hope you got it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
That is the reason. That is the reason. Don't rely on the layouts. Rely on the fields which you want to display. If there are more number of fields, then you can go for it. Layout. But target, okay, defining the target fields is the good option, because when you say target fields, you are mentioning which fields you want to fetch from the record as per your business functionality. Which fields you want to fetch, you are clearly mentioning on the target fields. So it has no impact on the. It is not going to be impacted based on the layouts. You have independent. Okay, you are independent from the layout. Any changes are made on the layout, it is not going to impact our functionality. That is the reason I say better to go with the target fields rather than going with a layout type. I hope everyone is good with that. Any other queries from your end?
Satish,
Yeah.
as I can see, we use edit mode over here, right?
Yes.
But when we save the data,
Mhm.
it gets saved, but it is still in edit mode.
Because I gave view equal to okay, the mode equal to edit, no.
Yeah, yeah. But after saving data, it will be still in edit
Now,
mode.
now see, I have not modified the mode, right? Now the point here is, what is the mode you gave here? Input, no. What is the mode you gave here? Input. Now what you are supposed to do?
So, give the data.
Change this, remove this input, put a label, okay, and say hide this, show this.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay,
that's we need to re-render as per our requirement.
okay.
Right. Now here we'll try to see whether there's any connection that we can put between the events and this concept what you see. So what I will try to do is, first I'll try to explain one fic. I'll go with this first. I'm not taking record ID. I was giving rec ID. I mentioned a default ID here. Generally, what we get, the ID of the record which is mentioned in the URL, we are getting it. But in this case, I told I don't want the ID of the record which is mentioned in the URL. I want to mention my own ID. I want to mention my own ID. So if you want to mention your own ID, let us see what will happen in this case. Let me go to Ready Labs. The record what I'm referring is Ready Labs. So it's a Ready Labs. Whatever the ID I am passing that record from that Okay, whatever the ID I passed, from based on that ID we are getting the data. Why I mentioned here? Why I mentioned here? Why I mentioned here? So whichever the ID of the record we are passing, that record data we are going to fetch it. It is not necessary that always we are supposed to get. It is not necessary that always we are supposed to get. It is not necessary that always we are supposed to get ID of the ID based on the URL. Sorry. Sorry, boss. Now it is not necessary that always we refer to the same record. It is not necessary that always we refer to the same ID which is passed. If you have a different requirement, we can do it. Like I told you, I have a requirement like this. My requirement is I'm adding a component here. I'm creating my own custom component. In this component, I was supposed to display owner details, owner last name. Now this is an account record. This is an account record, but in this component I want to display owner details. It is an account record, but here I want to display owner details. In that case, what we do? I don't want the ID. Okay, now whatever the record ID you are getting, based on that record ID, whatever the record ID we are getting, based on that record ID, find out the account. For the account, who is the owner? Based on the owner ID, you get the corresponding owner data and display it. Corresponding owner data and display it. Now let us take another example. Now this is an account. Now here, account. What is my intention was? I want to create a contact here. I want to create a contact. When you want to create a contact, this is not referring to the account record, it is referring to the contact record. So first what we are supposed to do, create one contact record. Create one contact record, then insert this contact record. Now the component is added on the account page. Now I am not referring to the ID of the account here. I want to create a new contact here. I want to create a new contact here. I want to create a new contact. So how to create a new record? I am not referring to the existing record. I want to create a new record. In the previous case, whatever the example I shown, we are referring to the existing account record. But now what I'm saying is, I don't want to refer to the existing record. I want to create my own account record and use it. So how to create a new account record? Right now, we are referring to the existing record and using it. Now what I'm saying is, I don't want to refer to the existing record. I want to create my own account record and I want to use it. So how to create a new account record? And save it is the first point. Now we have a different functionality. Now, did the people get what I am trying to convey? Right now, based on the ID, right now, based on the ID, we are displaying the data. That means already we are referring to the existing data. It is something like this. Here we already have a.id. Like this we got that we are storing to A. This is what we are doing. Now what I am saying, because we are already mentioned the ID, it is an existing record. We are referring to the data from the existing record, assigning to your variable. But now what I am trying to say, I don't have any existing record. I am not referring to existing record. I was supposed to create my own record. Then I will insert it. I don't have an ID. I am not referring to the existing data. I want to create my own record and I want to insert it. So how to create the record first? In this example, we are not assigning a new account because already existing record was there. That record we are assigning to ACC. But in this case, I was supposed to create a new account. So how to create a new record, then how to save it. How to create a new record and how to save it. Did you get my requirement? Did you get my requirement, boss? Any query from your end? Any query from your end? Any query from your end? Did you get my requirement? So creating a new record. Creating a new record. So let me explain you clearly how this will happen. So get, right now what we are doing, save record. This is the functionality what we are doing. Now get new record is the next function. If you want to create a new record, now record data. I am not trying to refer to the existing record. I was trying to create a new record. If you are trying to create a new record, the functionality what we have is get new record. In the get new record, I have 4 parameters. Parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, parameter 4. There are 4 parameters. First parameter, object name. Second parameter, record type. If this object has any record type, based on the record type you want to create, I have to mention it. Third parameter, cache. Should I enable the cache or not? Fourth parameter, callback. I want to make a callback action and see whether the record was created successfully or not. So if you want to create a new record, we have a function get new record. In that get new record, we are supposed to pass 4 parameters. First parameter is name of the object. Second parameter is your record type, if any record types are there, we are supposed to mention. Third one, cache enable or not. Fourth one, callback action. So these 4 parameters I have to pass it. So how it looks like, let me give you. Get new record. Look at this. First, object name, parameter 1, which is object name. Parameter 2, record type. I am not using any record type, so you can give it as null record type ID. Third one, you want to enable the cache. Fourth one, callback action. Now, this is what we got. So look at this, name of the object, record type. If you are supposed to create this record with specific to particular record type, mention the record type ID. You want to enable the cache or disable the cache. Okay, then callback action. Right. If the record is created or not, how do I know? How do I know record is created or not? So I have force record data, your ID. Then what I was supposed to do? If the record was created, this value will not be null. If record was created, that value will not be null. That's what we are trying to convey it here. Component dot get my record. Component dot get my record. Component dot get my record. If record is not equal to null, yes, record is created successfully. Otherwise, record is not created. Record is not created. Okay, record is created. Record is created. If record is not equal to null, record is created successfully, then get the API name. If not, record is not created successfully, through error message. So we'll try to implement it step by step and you'll understand it. So here we have force record data. Then we have, let me do it step by step.
Satish, what is use of cache?
Come again.
What is use of cache?
Cache,
Cache equal to true.
you are maintaining the autocomplete. When you're typing the input text, you'll be maintaining autocomplete. No, auto will be coming. No. So like when you already entered the data, like let us say
Okay. 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 I got that.
autofills, it autofills the data.
Order.
Target fields. Target error. Right. Then we have the next one. So I have got my record dot. This how I gave, and I'm giving. Writing. But here, when I'm doing this, I was not mentioning the ID of the record. Now, here I was intention. This is referring to what? Last name, first name, phone, email. This I am going to add it on account page. When I'm going to add this one account page, in the account object, we don't have last name, first name, phone, email. So it will be throwing an error message. The target record, when you say record data, when we add this component on the account page, it is expected to refer to the data from the account. When I add this component on the account page, this record data was expected to refer to the same data from the account. But here, the record data is supposed to refer to the data from contact. So what we are supposed to do was, this record data is not referring to the data of an account. It is supposed to refer to the data from a contact. Then I have to create my own record data. For that purpose, we are creating URA handler, name equal to init, value equal to this, action equal to C dot call. So before the component is loaded, I want some action to be performed. What is that action you want to perform? Component dot find Myrick dot get new record. This one have contact. Have no record type, no cache. Then I have the fourth one. Callback function. Where get my record. If rec equal to null or not equal to null. Console dot log record not created. Else record create. So the moment you call handler, the moment you call the handler means the moment the component is loaded, the moment the component is loaded, the moment the component is loaded, we can say it. The moment the component is loaded, the moment the component is loaded, this will run it. When it runs, it is going to create a contact. Once the contact is created, this will not throw any error message. So handler, the moment the component is loaded, first I'm asking you to create a contact. The moment the component is loaded, first I'm asking you to create a contact. So what I was supposed to do, go to the record, go to the edit page, and callback invalid key, my record. Record not created. Let me make this. It's okay. Not necessary that I have to give it. Okay, let me revise it. Let me refresh. Record not created. Receive 26. What was that? We got my record. Myrick. Component find Myrick. Record created. The mistake was the C I gave small because which it has thrown error message. It is scripting case instance. I was supposed to give capital C, but I gave a small c because of which we received an error. Now it is record created. Okay. So this is what we have done. So once the component is loaded, we got the record. Now what I want to do in this case, what I want to do, the moment you loaded the component, this is created. The moment I loaded the component, this is created. Here I want to create some additional fields also here. Yeah, it will be dot record ID. Let's go back and refresh. So whatever the account ID was there, that I was passing here. Whatever the account ID was there, that I am passing here. Now I want to insert this contact for this account. Whatever the record ID was there, v dot record ID, this ID I was passing. I created a new contact and I was assigning the values for this and account ID equal to this. So here I give lighting input value equal to this I was supposed to give my dot I was supposed to assign the default value here, right? So what I can do, okay, let's check it out. Fine. When you click on this, I want to save the record. How do you save the record? The method is show. Go back to this function component. Component dot find. Get the record. Record. I'm going to give attribute name equal to ACCID type equal to default. Then I'm getting my record. Now my record dot account ID equal to get b dot ACCID. Then again setting back the record. Right. So I'm getting the record. I'm setting the value of account ID equal to ACC.id. Then I need to apply the save functionality. How do you find the save functionality? Component dot find my rec dot save record $a dot get callback function. Yeah. If save result dot state success contact saved success. So let us check out this functionality.
Satish, function spelling is wrong over there.
Function line
So,
number.
so 18.
Go back here. I also want to show you this ID was there. Okay. So my intention was saving the contact. So go back here. refresh. It's not refreshed. Yeah. I'm gonna have click on save. Now look at this. His ID was populated here. AB. ID was populated here. Go back and see whether contact was created successfully or not. Contact saved successfully. So what did I do? I was creating a contact, but this contact should be created for this account. I was creating a contact. I want the contact to be created for this account. Now I want the contact to be created for this account. So whatever the record ID we are passing here, that record ID I have to assign to this contact. Whatever the record ID we are passing here, that record ID I want to assign to this account. Okay, this contact dot account ID. Now let me explain step by step. Look at this. This record data is contact. Now this contact I want to insert contact for the account from which this component is invoked. So what does it mean? So I was supposed to create a contact C1 equal to new contact C1 dot account ID equal to ID of the account record from which we call this. This should be the functionality. But this my record is completely contact record. My record was a contact record. So in my record, I have a field called my record dot account ID. For this account ID, I have to set ID of the account from which we called. Now, how do you refer to the ID of the account? V dot record ID. When you say V dot record ID, has record ID will return you record ID. Has record ID will return you the ID of the record from where we call this component. So what I'm doing, I created a attribute called ACC ID where I gave default value equal to ID of the account, ID of the record from where this component is called. I created my own attribute called ACC ID where I told V dot record ID, ID of the record from where we call this, that ID I assigned to ACC ID. The moment you click on the save, what I done? The moment you click on the save, I fetched the contact record, I fetched the account ID, then I told contact record dot account ID equal to ID of the account. Then again I set back to the record. Then I told get the record and save it. Then I told get the record and save it. Then I told get the record and save it. Is that was clear? Anyone has any query on that? Let me know.
Can you explain the line number 21?
Now see, what was this record was? This is a contact record, right? My record is a contact record. Then in the contact record, what I'm doing? Contact dot account ID equal to ACC dot ID. How are you getting this account ID? This is ID of the account. This is ID of the account.
Okay.
Get the contact record, get the ID of the account and assign it to it.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other queries from anyone else?
Hello, sir. Can you please explain me the call me function?
Call me function, where was that? Yeah. The creation of record, right? Yeah. So, see, when you want to create a new record, the functionality what we have is get new record. This is creating a new record, just like new contact. Now, when you say your attribute name equal to, remember what we have done in the first examples. my contact type equal to object. If you remember well, we gave default equal to like this. We gave. Do you remember that? When you're referring to this object, we gave this. If you don't give this, what will happen? If I don't give this, just like it is, contact, my contact. This is the meaning. So there is no memory allocated. Attribute my contact type equal to subject. That means it is like contact, my contact. Contact, my contact. But if you want to use it, if you want to insert it, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to create like my contact equal to new contact. Unless I do this, I cannot make any DML operation. Otherwise, it just simply says null. When I say attribute name equal to my contact type object, now it is creating like this: contact, my contact. So it's only a reference variable is created, but there is no memory allocated to this. So I want to allocate a memory. To allocate the memory, what we do? My contact equal to new contact. The same story, what you have done in the above step, it is done in the lighting like this: get new record. The get new record. Now, which record? They are giving 4 parameters. Param 1, which is nothing but API name. Object API name is a case sensitive. Now, param 2. ID of the record type. In case if the contact object has multiple record types, this record should be created with respect to which record type. Param 3. Caching. Param 4. Callback action. Right. So that's how we are giving get new record, contact object, no record type, cache disabled, false, then get callback action. How you define function? This action. So this closing bracket for the get record. The bracket is for callback. This is how we created. Now I want to check whether record is created or not. Now I am getting this record. How do you get the record? Where equal to component dot get v dot contact. If you don't assign, what is the value of contact bus? If you say if my contact equal to null, what does it mean? Memory is not allocated. But if I write here the same statement of if I write here, if my contact no. Right. Got my point here. This if you write this statement here, it is a contact equal null, yes, true. If I write the statement here, contact equal null, it is a false. The same thing I am checking here. If the record was created successfully, if rec equal to null, that means record is not created successfully. Then throw error message. I hope you got my point. Is that clear now?
Actually, I was confused with the record creation, because in this case we are not actually creating the record, right? We are just initializing and allocating a memory for the contact.
What do you mean by allocating a memory? I didn't say inserting a record. Creating a record is different from inserting a record. Now,
Okay.
now tell me, This is a creating a record and or initiating the record. Now this is a inserting a record. Initiation means you are creating instance of an account,
Yes.
right? It's not inserted in the database. We are creating instance. Here also, this is only creating an instance. It's not inserting. Inserting is done by save record. Here we have done the save, right? Okay.
Okay, got it.
Any other queries?
Sir, is inline edit functionality available for edit instead of taking, always like a lightning input? Can I take a lightning output field?
No,
Can I?
No, there's a different story again. There's a different story, different functionality. That cannot be done with this LDS.
Okay, so just let me know, like, if inline edit functionality is
available, but not at this, with respect to the concepts of what you learn. There's again a different story. The concept is there, but not with respect to what we are learning now.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So if here we will make cache enabled, then what will happen?
Come again?
That cache enable.
Yeah.
You are showing cache false, na? I'm asking if you
now
set cache.
Look at this. Sometime when I enter, automatically give suggestion, right? When I give yes, it will show the Satish and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now previous data what you entered, that will be shown here, which I can select directly.
Yes.
That's what is cache enabled.
Okay.
Any other queries? Any other queries? I hope everyone is good with this. People are good with this concept. Again, I will conclude this. Before I close the session, I will conclude this. Record ID, force record ID. This will refer to one record, just like account ACC. Account ACC. Now this can refer to existing record or we can create new record. Record and use it. If you want to use force record data, we have force has recorded. Force has recorded. If you want to refer to the ID of the record from which this component is invoked. If you want to refer to the ID of the record from which this component is invoked. So basically, we need to understand this point. We have a page, lightning page. This is a page which is a combination of multiple components. Component 1, component 2, component 3. It is a page. It is a page. Record home page of a particular record. This is a record home page of a particular record. When you say page may have multiple components. the record home page, record home page, record home page, record home page has multiple components on it. Now we have designed one of the component. We have designed one of the component. Just give me 1 second, Amma. Record home page. This is referring to a particular record. This is referring to a particular record. When you add a component on this record home page, and your component want to refer to the ID of the record, component want to refer to ID of the record, which page is referring. Then we have force has record ID. So the ID of the page, on the page we are passing the ID of the record. The ID of the page, the ID which is referred by the page, record page, if you want to refer that ID within a component, then the component has to use has record ID. This is a record home page referring to a particular record. Now the page is referring to a particular record. The record what the page is referring, that record ID if you want to use in the component, then the component has to use has record ID. Is this statement is clear? It is a record home page. The page is referring to a particular record data was referred on the page. If your component, if this component want to refer to the ID of the record what the page is referring, then it has to implement has record ID. If this component want to refer to the record, refer to the ID of the record which the page is referring, it has to implement has record ID. When I say has record ID, ID of the record which the page is referring, that record ID will be passed. How do you use it? We call it as v dot record ID. This is how we are using. Okay. Now you got this. Now when you are creating a record, now you understand the second point. Is this point is clear for everyone? Am I clear with this point? First point. We are referring with a record home page. So it is a particular record we are referring. On that particular record page, if you are adding our component and our component want to refer to the ID of the record, what the page is referring, then we have to use a has record ID. Now we have two concepts here. Look at the concept here. Account, ACC. ID of the record. Now ID of the record, whichever the record ID I am giving. If you are passing this ID, this record is referring to this ID. Now we have force record data. Force record data. We have record ID. ID of the record. So what was that? Whichever the ID we pass, it will create an instance of it. Now if I am passing the record ID, if I am passing here v dot record ID, so the ID of the record which is referred in the page, it is creating instance of that record. It is getting instance of that record. Again, I'll make it simple. One more time, I'll give it. Record data. Now, suppose if I am not given this record ID, the meaning of this, so the meaning of this is it has created contact my record. Contact my record. Suppose if I given like this, now it means contact my record dot ID equal to. When do we have ID of the record? If you are giving ID of the record, it is referring to the existing record. When I give ID of the record, ID is available means it's existing record. In this case, if I'm not giving ID, when I'm not giving an ID, it is not existing record. Here, if I'm giving an ID, it is an existing record. If it is an existing record, we will save it. If it is not existing record, create a record, then make it changes. Is that was clear now? Is that was clear? Anyone has query? Anyone still has query on it? Right. Okay. That's all from my end for the day. We'll continue in the next session.